Welcome to Some Guy's Garage. Today we're going to take a look at my folding metal workbench. So before we get started, some of you have been asking if I'll do a garage tour at some point. And so for a 1,000 subscribers special, I'll do a tour of the full garage. So if you would like to see that, make sure you subscribe and share so we can get to 1,000 subscribers. Like many of you, I work in a pretty small garage and space is at a premium. And so I've made this folding metal workbench that doesn't take up a lot of space when it's not in use, but gives me another work surface when I need one. As you can see, when it's folded up, it takes up very little space, only about 4 inches. Those of you that have been watching my other videos will be familiar with this workbench. It's great, but made of wood, and so when I'm doing things with metal, specifically grinding anything with sparks or welding, it isn't the right sort of surface to work on. So that's why I've built the metal one as an extra workspace. First, let's just take a look at how it folds. The top of the workbench just lifts straight up. It's fairly heavy. Once it's lifted up, the legs fold out from underneath. And then they slot into these brackets on each side. And then a bolt goes through to hold the leg in place. And there's a welded nut on the other side that they thread into. And then once the leg is in, there's a foot just made out of a 1-inch bolt that can get threaded down onto the ground to pick up the weight. And then what we have is a 2-foot by 4-foot workbench with a durable steel top. Taking a closer look at the construction, we have a 1.5-inch tube that's lag bolted to the wall, as well as a couple plates that hold the brackets for the swinging legs. The frame of the top is just again made with 1.5-inch square tubing with a 3/16 plate bolted on top. The hinges, which there's 2 of them, are just made with some round tube and a 1/2-inch solid round rod with some C-clips to hold them in place. Behind the entire thing, there's a sheet of 20 gauge sheet metal, and that just provides some protection to the wall from sparks and other damage. And here's just a closer look at the underside when it's unfolded. You can see the metal frame, the hinges, and the brackets for the legs. Another neat feature is by making the tubes at the front open, we're able to slip in a smaller 1.25-inch tube into those front tubes to attach different accessories, like in this case a vise or a bench grinder. So we can just slide the vise right into the front. And then it gets cinched down with this bolt. And then the same thing on the other side with the bench grinder. Well, that's my folding metal workbench. It doesn't need to be metal. This is something you could easily make out of wood as well, and works great in a garage where you don't have a lot of space. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time.